What's happening? What's happening? What's going on, people? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It is a Monday, all day, top of the week. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend. An awesome weekend. Well, you know, according to our weatherman, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what other job can you have that you can just blatantly flat out tell lies and keep that job? What other than a weatherman? What other job can you have that you can just flat out tell lies and you can keep that job? Help me out. Help. Hold on. Let me put my get up here. But help me out a little bit. That you can just flat out lie. Weatherman said we were supposed. I just finished walking my dog. Beautiful day outside. Beautiful. But, you know, according to the weatherman, we're supposed to be going through some hell. So the question is, what other job can you have that you can just blatantly lie and still pick up a paycheck? And still get a paycheck. Just say whatever you want. Doesn't matter what it is. Say today. It is what is today. A Minnesota governor. Yeah, that's true. Minnesota governor. You're right. Minnesota governor is like a weatherman. They can say whatever they want, lie up and down in some of everything. I wasn't gonna go in on that just this early, but somebody put it out there. Attorney General in Minnesota, Chad said, Minnesota governor. Chad said, Attorney General, Senate president in Minnesota. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with everything everybody have said that. But the weatherman, you know, wife comes home. I had all this stuff in the that's right, Chad. Had all the stuff in the middle of the garage, and she comes home. She's worried about her car gonna get hit by hail, and we're supposed to have a bad storm, and all this here. Got to go out and get all that stuff out of the way so I can park so I had to go out there and get all that stuff out of the way so she can park in the garage. And then I'm like, I take my dog out for a walk, and I'm walking around, and it's just a beautiful day out. And I'm sitting here going, okay, they canceled baseball practice because of what the weatherman said. No baseball practice because of what the weatherman said. And now I had to go get all of the stuff move all of that stuff out of the middle of the garage so she can park in there because of what the weatherman said. Well, the weatherman has been on my nerves today. He's been on my nerves today. But anyway, where we want to go today? Where we're going tonight? Where we're going? Let's. You know what? So I put on my timeline. I put a video, and that video was of Walter Hudson. And Walter Hudson, Dr. Howard said, any DFLer. Hey Josh, how you doing tonight, Josh? But the video that I put out was of Walter Hudson talking about what went on. I don't know if if you haven't been, listen to me. If you have not been keeping up with this fraud situation, that tells me a lot about you. No, it does, because this is the problem that we have here in Minnesota. I have said it point blank. I've said it over again. If you're not keeping up with what goes on downtown, then you're part of the problem. if you're not keeping up with this fraud situation that's going on, then you're part of the problem. People, well, I'm at work when it's going on. When you get home, you know what? Turn it on. But you have to get involved. You have to understand what's going on. You need to pull up the testimony with Keith Ellison. You have to do that. Listen to me. I'm telling you. Okay? Because everything that I have said, if you go back to 2019 and you listen to the things that I have said over time, everything that I have said has happened. So what I'm telling you now, and what I'm trying to make you people in Minnesota understand, that you have to get involved. Listen to me. It is time for us to stop letting these people at that Capitol make choices for us. It is time for us to stop letting those people at that Capitol do the things that they're doing. Because I can prove to you without a shadow of a doubt, that these people don't. That's why people get on me. That's why I'm going back. I'm going on. I know I'm going to be probably going to be everywhere tonight. So y'all just try to keep up with me. Because I've got a few things going on at one time. But what? Okay, so Saturday I go on Jack Tomczak's show on AM 1280. Jack is awesome dude. Kelly, NASCAR Kelly was there. Me and Kelly, she like I said, she's one of the people that I openly give a right to criticize me, and I take what she says serious because I know she's not being personal. So, and she's a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, her kids actually packaged up packages for my nonprofit. Her kids worked for my really good people. But while I'm on there, what they kept trying to press me on is if I was a Republican. Well, you're running under a Republican, so you have to be no, I don't have to be a Republican. I don't have to be a Democrat. But what I have to be is that of the people. And to get people to understand what I'm saying, I know I have to climb an uphill battle because these parties has gotten people to the point to where they feel that they're nothing without them. If you don't push water for your party, you feel like you're nothing. People act like they can't go out here and say, you know what? This is my stance. These are the things that I care about. That's important to me. Who is going to care about what's important? People act like they can't do that. Oh, I've got to stand with this party. Well, nothing's going to get done. And they don't care about you. They don't do the things that's supposed to be done for you. They don't come ask you. They go, knock, 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 knock. If you give me your vote, you know what I'll do? I'll go up there and work for. And then the minute they get up there, they have turned to something that you didn't recognize at your door. It happens all the time. And then y'all sit back and bitch and complain. But you did it. You put them up there. But you bitch and complain about it. But you don't want to do nothing. You literally don't want to do nothing about it. If y'all think that the Democrats are the only one to point fingers at when it comes to this here, feed your future, when it comes to all this money, and you out your mind. Walter Hudson asked a question. Go to the video that I put out there. Walter Hudson asked the question, well, how did this happen? He knows how it happened. They all know how it happened. But the Republicans are going to walk around here like, we don't know nothing. We wasn't in power. There's the point. There's the point that I've been making. And y'all will push that lie in that water. When Senator Roger Chamberlain was holding, talking about this Feed Your Future, all of this stuff that was going on, you didn't hear nothing. The Republican Party could have been out years ago asking these very questions, trying to find out what's going on. And then when they get somewhere, they could get some type of subpoena power. They don't have subpoena power, bros. Nothing. Only thing they're doing now is pushing crap out there. And then try to act like they didn't know this. They knew it. They all knew it, people. Where was the checks and balances? I'm not understanding, when do we get to that part? Till they start going, who should have been checking this stuff? Millions of your taxpayers' money walked out of the state of Minnesota and nobody cares. But the minute somebody's talking about feed every single kid, y'all lose your damn mind. You don't care that people who shouldn't be. You don't care that people who really don't care about what's going on here. These people don't have the mindset. You pull me out of a war-torn country and bring me to a place like the United States. Like, my mind is going to change like that. You're out your mind, people. So now they're down there at the Capitol, and I'm happy. It's okay. But this is what I can tell you. I can tell you, Chaz, right there. He's on my get up, and I've said this here. We've shown the Republicans fraud. We've shown them that all of this here nonprofits that we have in Minneapolis and all these people getting all this money. They know. The Republicans know. But they're going to sit here and act to you like this is a surprise. It's not. It's not a surprise. So when Walter asked that question, and then he says, and during when he said to what was funny to me is he says to Keith Ellison, he's like, well, it's hard for me to believe that, you didn't know what was going on and blah, blah, blah. It's hard for me to believe that nobody knew what was going on. I'm sitting there listening to him say this to Keith Ellison, and I'm going, why is that hard to believe? Because you as a Republican is acting like you didn't even know. But it's hard for you to believe that Keith didn't know because you didn't. They trying to pull the wool over our eyes, people, and I keep trying to get y'all to see this. And y'all keep saying, Rev, we don't want the truth. We like it when they lie to us. That's what we like. We don't like it, Rev, when you come over here and you start telling the truth about this stuff. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. So stop it. What we need you to do, Rev, is get on board, get behind the Republican Party or get behind the Democratic Party and just get your role and just roll like a good boy. That's what we need for you to do. But we don't need you coming out here showing us, literally showing you that they're pulling the wool over your face. And I think that's because you ain't never had a truth teller. You ain't never had nobody that's going to tell you the truth, and y'all just don't know how. You don't know how to deal with me. Y'all still ain't figured out how do we deal with this here one right here. Who knows? So it's easy when you don't know. It's easy to believe the stuff that come out. It's easy. That's easy. If one party is giving away all this money, no, this is why I want you to think about it. Hold on. Every now and then I got to slow down because some people get mad at me and be like, see, that's why I don't follow Rev because blah, 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 blah. So I got to let them get all bad at me for a second because I want you to think about something. Okay? All right. So if one party is giving out all of this money, all this money is being given out the door, right? Almost $1 billion to one group of people. And if the other party is not privy of this, have no clue that all this money is being given, somebody's not doing their job. So if the Republicans are going to sit here and say, well, we didn't know, why didn't you know? That's what I want to know. I want to know why didn't the Republican Party know about all of this money, all of this 17. Hold on. Today was revealed that this one company, the people who run this thing, had 17 different sites, and they all were getting money. So if the Republicans didn't know, why didn't they know that? I as a taxpayer want to know. I as a taxpayer need to know. And here is a point that I've made and I'm going to make again. If we had enough people who gave a damn about their taxes and about their money, then we all could say point blank, I need to know why you did not know about all this money that walked out of the state of Minnesota. Because I don't have enough people who care about their taxes. They just want to bitch and moan. They want to be victims. You know, we're going to get into that tonight because I'm going to show you. I have to end the night with that because I'm going to leave y'all pissed at me until Wednesday. So make me understand that. If I'm at the Capitol and all of this money is being given out by the Democrats, you got a sitting senator who's basically writing bills, pushing money to his friends and all of this here. You would think somebody would caught that. All of this money going into the black community and nothing gets done. You would think somebody would caught something on. You would think a Republican would be like, wait a second. We got all these here nonprofits going into and then we got all this money going into the black, but nothing's changed. We need to find out why did not any Republican step up to the plate to honestly ask about the money? See, y'all don't want the truth. You really don't want the truth. It's easy. I could come on here and pull the wool over your eyes, and y'all would love me to death. Because you don't really want to see the truth. It's fine for them to lie to you. It's fine for them to just give you a half of whatever. $18 billion. Where is that money? I'm sitting here going, I've got my wife's car. It's $300 for tabs. My car is $170 something for tabs. Why couldn't they send me a little bit of money back to help me with my tabs? $250 would have been fine. 200 a check for $250 would go a long way with me going up there getting tabs for our cars. Because we don't think like that. No, we don't think like that. We don't think while they are telling us they won't fund our freedom because exactly. But what I'm saying is make me understand why you can't think like that. $250 would help me out when it comes to my tabs. I shouldn't have to pay $300 to get tabs for a car. Why are we paying $300? Some of y'all pay more than I do. I'm complaining about $300. There's people that pay $400 or $500 for their tabs. And I don't understand for the life of me, why is that okay? Why do you feel you need to pay $300 to $400 to $500 for your tabs? That's just not right. But it's okay with you. You're not going to bitch about it. But let me make sure that every kid in the state of Minnesota eats breakfast. And y'all lose your mind. Because I'm all for that. I don't care if Bill Gates' son moved into Maple Grove tomorrow. That kid will eat for free. That's what gets you all balled up in a chain. I mean, balled up in a knot. But all of this other stuff, you just go, oh, I don't see that. Oh, that's not important. But go watch that video of Walter Hudson, what he says. And then at 2:33, stop it and get ready for the question. I can answer that question. Because one side didn't give a damn and the other side was doing whatever they want. And that's how the pendulum always swings. Right? The Democrats feel that they got to do so much for people because the Republicans are sitting here going, we don't give a damn about you. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It doesn't matter. Name me something the Republicans have done. No, seriously. I said that to Kelly and Jack on this weekend, and they never answered the question because they can't. And neither can you all. Now, there's not one person who's on the sound of my voice right now that can say what the Republicans have done for somebody here in this state. And don't give me that. You know what I don't want to hear? I don't want to hear, oh, well, that's because the Democrats were in power. They couldn't do anything. That's a lie. That's where I sit back and I say to you, you're lying to yourself and they have lied to you. At any point in time, the Republican Party could have got together and came up with ways that we can work to clean up the homeless. At any point in time, the Republican Party could have got together and came up with ways that we can clean up downtown. At any point in time, the Republican Party could have got together to come up with ways to make sure that these farmers are not being taxed out of their land. At any point in time, the Republican, now, would it have passed? We don't know. But you know what? Put the bill on the table and let the people talk about it. Bring it to the people. That's how you do that. So don't give me this. Oh, because the Democrats were in power, they couldn't do anything. So what you're telling me is when the Republicans was bitching and moaning that the Democrats didn't want to come at the start of the session, didn't come to work. It's almost the same thing what they've been doing for the past 2 years. See, that's what I'm saying. Think about it. What's the difference? Because the Republicans got paid for 2 years for doing nothing. If you sit there and tell me that they couldn't do anything because of the Democrats, You're telling me that the Republicans got paid for 2 years and they did nothing. That's what you said. That's what, anytime I say that, that's the excuse that you give me. That's the excuse that you've been programmed to give. Oh, they couldn't do anything because Democrats are in power. So what did they do? What did they do to earn their paycheck? To get taxpayer money? What? That's what I thought. That's what I keep telling y'all. Y'all don't want the truth. You don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's taxpayers' money, people. And y'all need to start paying attention. You need to take some time, whether it's on a weekend, take 15 minutes and go through those videos of these people testifying. Really listen to the things that they're saying. And then you had a Democrat, I forgot her name, but she's on there. Then you had a Democrat who sit there and go, well, we've been talking about the Feed Your Future for so long. Let's talk about Medicare and how they're trying to take stuff that she's trying to flip the switch. They're not even deep enough into Feed Your Future to be talking about flipping the switch. There's a lot of things I wish I could go in there and ask a couple. I got questions. Hello, call me. I got questions that I want to know. I want to know, when Mayor Fry's wife worked for one of these entities, at what point in time did she decide she wanted to quit? Was it before she heard about the raid, or was it after she heard about the raid? That's what I want to know. I want to know that the two dudes one dude who's sitting on the my throat is killing me tonight. I want to know about the cat who's sit. That's who they should bring in a question, but they can't. The city council member, him and his wife, because they're knee deep. They're knee deep in this, but they can't call him in to question him. They can't call him in to have him tell the truth about what part he played in this. And there's many others believe that. But they can't call him in because they don't have no power to subpoena. And I can guarantee you, if they didn't have Keith Ellison on tape, Keith Ellison wouldn't have came in. Keith came in because he was on tape. But if he was not on tape, Keith would have been like, I'm good. Y'all ain't got no subpoena power. I ain't got no reason to come up in there. So I'm not coming. He wouldn't have came. Only reason he came because he was on tape. That's it. Let's tell the truth. That's the truth about that. So I wouldn't have, if I would have ripped off $10 million and you'd have been like, I need you to come in and tell us how you ripped the $10 million off and why. I'm be like, are you making me? Are you asking? And they'd be like, well, we can't make you. We're asking. I'd be like, dude, I'm about to set my $4 million boat on Lake Minnetonka. I ain't got time to deal with you right now. No. I'm about to set my boat on Lake Minnetonka. I'm not coming in and talking to you. And after that, I'm going to pull it with my $200,000 truck to my $6 million house. They'd be like, well, you really don't have a job. How'd you get all that money? Not your business. Are we done? Are you finished? I'm out. They say, well, tell you what. Why don't you come in next Tuesday? And next Tuesday, I'm going to be in Dubai. Then after that, I'm going to be in Spain. I may be in Australia right after that. You know what? Once I'm done traveling, I'll get back to you. And the only thing they could do is go, okay. But yet, my name is all over 17 different sites that was getting taxpayers' money. But there's nothing you can do to me. Nothing you can do to me. That's what we have to put up with. So when Walter Hudson asked that question, how did it happen? He knows how it happened. He knows. He just got to do that for the camera. He knows. All of them up there know exactly how it happened. They know exactly how it happened. Because one side had the key. One side had the key to the hen house. And the other side act like they didn't care. And nobody was watching over nobody. And that, my friends, is your government. And that's the government that you're okay with. That is the government you have, and that's the government that you said that you're okay with. And then you sit there and you go, well, there's nothing we can do about it because it's the way that the Democrats, they have cheated in every election and they have blah, blah this and blah, blah that. Better candidates. Let's try that. See how that works. You got somebody running right now. I forgot her name, but I'm sure somebody will know who she is. You got somebody running on the Republican ticket right now that was literally at J6. A majority of people in Minnesota believe that what happened at J6 was a tragedy. And there's some people here in Minnesota who, like her, she felt she had a right to go up and do what she did. But the majority of people in Minnesota was like, no, that's not right. And then they're going to run her in an election? That's your Republican Party. And people, that's the reason why I say I will always believe in people over party. Even though right now, my people, Carrie, yeah, that's her. Even though right now, my people are still in this la-la land that they're Republican or Democratic candidate who really care about. I mean, they have done it's like the job that they have done to the people in Hennepin County. Hennepin County, if you go to Hennepin County and say Republican, racist. That's the first thing you're going to hear. First thing you're going to hear. They have done a job. The Democratic Party has done a job to people in Hennepin County when it comes to Republicans. They have done an unbelievable job. Also in Duluth. That's the blue wall. So I have to get these people to believe that I said, I just learned to what Walter said and posted a reply asking why families didn't apply for SNAP. Why would the family want to apply for SNAP when it was right in the middle of COVID time, which Tim Walz basically let people fend for themselves? So SNAP, Tom, wasn't a program. SNAP was looking for food, right? SNAP was trying to feed people. There wasn't a lot of food in the grocery stores when I started my nonprofit for that reason. I had food in the parking lot of my church feeding North Minneapolis. See, and this is exactly what he just put up here. He said, this is what he said. He said, I just learned to what Walter said and posted a reply asking why. This is what I keep trying to make y'all understand, Tom. These politicians that y'all put up there ain't never walked the streets. So they wouldn't understand why SNAP wouldn't have worked in this situation. Yeah, y'all, right there, bam. Thank you, Tom. They wouldn't understand any of this stuff. That's why I keep trying to make y'all understand. These people, these Republicans go get in a cop car, drive around for 3 hours, and now they know public safety. That's how they learn public safety. They don't come down and walk the streets. They don't see the police knocking somebody up on side their head. They go in a cop car for a couple of hours. They get out and swear to God they know public safety. Why didn't the families go and apply for SNAP? That right there is what I'm talking about. Y'all been fooled. You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been led astray. I keep trying to make you understand that. And every now and then, where did that comment go? Hold on, Chaz. I see what you're saying. I got to stick with what Tom has said here. Tom said, I just learned to what Walter said and posted a reply asking why these families didn't apply for SNAP. Because SNAP would have took all day and these people was hungry right now. That's why, Walter Hudson. But because they don't ever get involved in the community in that situation, that's how they think. Right there. Point blank. It's what I've been trying to tell you all this time. These people don't know. They don't know. They don't. They don't. Nobody was worried about SNAP right then and there. People was trying to eat like tomorrow. And had these boneheads who got all this money done the things they're supposed to have been doing, a lot of other families would have been eating. And what a lot of these so-called politicians who ask questions, who say stuff like that, don't realize Tim Walz left a lot of people in the dirt. He did. And y'all don't get that. You don't understand what I'm saying. There was families that wasn't eating. There was elderly people who couldn't go get food. Tim Walz, the thing that pissed me off about the national media, when Tim Walz was running for vice president, they just did not want to dig into who Tim Walz was and what he did for this state. How he hurt the situation. How he hurt the situation when it came to this very situation right here. Had Tim Walz been a governor and said, you know what, I got to take care of my people. So here we go. Watch this. Had Tim Walz been a governor that said, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican, I'm going to take care of my people. I'm going to go from north to south to east and west. And I'm going to make sure that everybody's eating. But that's not what they did. What the Democrats did, it was shoving money at people who was taking your tax dollars. And what the Republicans did was sat back and watch it happen. This happened in real time, people. This happened in real time. This happened in real time. So it doesn't take a Republican and it doesn't take a Democrat to give a damn about people. That's the point that I'm trying to make. Because if that's the deal, if that's what you're going to hinge on me running for lieutenant governor, if that's what you're saying, because I can show you that the Democrats have screwed us up and the Republicans have screwed us up. So which one should I run on? No, I'm serious. Which one should I run on? If that's what y'all saying, which one should I run on? Because they both has screwed us. He said, true, the paperwork is a headache. Yes, it is. He said, I'm going through it now. This is what Tom is saying. I'm going back with Tom. Tom is saying, I'm going through it right now. Ramsey County is short-staffed. And if you think Ramsey County was short-staffed now, think about it when we was going through the pandemic and all of that stuff. So families could not, they wouldn't have been able to get SNAP. He said Walter didn't know who Jamal Johnson was. Umar Johnson. I wouldn't expect. Chaz, come on. Come on. I wouldn't expect Walter to know that. I wouldn't expect Walter to know that. You know what? You know why. And you know why. Walter wouldn't know that. He said, I've been without a caseworker for 4 months. Had my EBT account robbed and been off for 2 months. He said, I'm a disabled. Look, people, dude, hey, Tom, I raised enough money to get, Tom he said, I'm a disabled vet. I raised money to get some wheelchairs for some veterans. We got wheelchairs for veterans. I know another, yeah. So this is the type of stuff that really makes me mad, because here we are fighting over parties, and we got our veterans like this. We're fighting over parties, and we got our. So what party has worked and done something helped our vets? So again, when y'all come to me and get upset at me because I won't push water for your Democrats or your Republican Party, this is why. This is the very reason why I will never. And if you sit there and say, well, I can't vote for you because you're not a Republican. I can't vote for you. You know what? I'm good. Keep your state the way it is, because nobody's going to fight for you, because they haven't. So when you criticize the Democrats, also criticize the Republicans. When you criticize the Republicans, also criticize the Democrats. That's a true statement, because that's what I do. You don't ever hear me on here pushing water for any one of them, because both of them, I've been part of. Hold on. So, well, maybe he haven't. I was all in the Tea Party. Well, I had voted Republican before the Tea Party. So let's make that clear. But I left the Tea Party because it got racist. That's why I left the Tea Party. I left the Democratic Party because Obama said he evolved and he believed in same-sex marriage. I could not be a Democrat because I don't believe in a lot of the things that the Democrats believe in. I just don't. I don't. My issues, I have issues that I like about the Democrats, and I have issues that I like about the Republican Party. And if I find a person who talks about my issues, I'm going to vote for him. That could be a Democrat and that could be a Republican. That even could be a libertarian or an independent. But I'm not going to bound myself to one party because one party isn't that perfect. It just isn't. No matter what you say. I don't care how much the Democrats swear up and down that the Republicans are racist. Have I been in a situation? Hold on. Have I been in a situation where the Republicans were? Yeah, I told you. The reason I left the Tea Party. I didn't get kicked out of the Tea Party. I left the Tea Party because of what it was turning into. That's why I left the Tea Party. Because of what it was turning into. And it wasn't good. That's why it's funny to me. Okay, I got 10 minutes to do this one. So, it's beginning to get really, really, really crazy because I'm seeing a lot of this. People saying that, oh, I used to like Candace Owens. Oh, Candace Owens, she used to say and say certain things. Well, let's talk about how Candace Owens became who she is. Candace Owens, and I can say this. Why? Like I say, one of the things that I don't do, if you're new hanging out with me tonight, anybody will tell you, I don't talk about things that I cannot prove. I do not, you will never hear me say something that I can't prove, ever. I know how Twitter works. Trust me. I've been ran down a couple of times on Twitter for saying something and I couldn't prove it. Oh my God. But the situation that's going on right now with Candace Owens is hilarious. Because we told y'all. We did. Stop it. But as long as Candace was just killing black people, as long as she talked about Ahmaud Arbery the way she did, as long as she talked about George Floyd the way she did, as long as she talked about Breonna Taylor the way, y'all loved her. She was the best thing since sliced. You did. You did. And I can tell you, I was in a room. True story. I got the pictures. I can show you. I was in a room, downtown Minneapolis. Huge room. I'm talking huge. And there had to be probably myself and probably 6 other black people in this room. And the rest was full of white people. And the white people were looking at this girl like she was Santa Claus. And as long as she stood on that stage and told them that there were no black men in the black community that was fathers, as long as she stood on that stage and told them that how violent black boys are, as long as she stood on that stage and talked about how the abortion in the black community, as long as she stood on that stage and talked about how victims were in the black community, they had a smile on their face and they felt good about themselves. That's a true story. because I got a picture with her right afterwards of me handing her my card. I handed Candace Owens my card, and I said, Candace, the very people that you step on, I'm going to need you to come back here to Minneapolis and walk around with me in the black community. And I put my card in her hand. I got the picture to prove it. I have never heard from this lady. But y'all made her rich because of things she said about the black people and black community. You know it, you know it, you know it. But the minute this woman decided to have an opinion about somebody else, that's all we hear now. Oh, Candace has changed. Candace isn't the same Candace. Oh, yeah. Come on. You know it. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. And it's a lovely thing to see y'all crash out. I'm enjoying it because I told you over and over and over. Y'all messing, y'all. But as long as she gave you what you wanted, y'all needed, y'all was fine with that. Yeah, you was. But all of a sudden, her tune changed. And that goes for a lot of these so-called black influencers, these black Republicans. They do, what's the name? C.J. Pearson. I put that on go to my timeline. No. Go to my timeline. So C.J. Pearson is saying that, the normal quote that you're going to hear from a black Republican, that, oh, the left hates this. The left hates when black people are. The left don't give a flying jack. We don't care. Don't care if you're a black Republican. I've been a black Republican. I've been a black Democrat, and nobody gave a jack. It's only when you take pictures and put yourself out there to be liked by a group of people. When you try to be Candace Owens. See, I grew up with Larry Elder. Larry Elder was the as he is mentioned in the black community. Larry Elders was our coon of the time. Larry Elder was before Candace Owens. Larry Elders was the man who basically started doing and saying the things that he said. And that caught on. But Larry Elders didn't have the internet to put him up in that Candace Owens fame. And a lot of these black so-called Republican influencers know where the grift is. They know where they can make their money. Really? Watch this. I don't know if y'all look up this dude. His name is Rod Smith. Look him up, seriously. If y'all think I'm just giving you lip service, watch this. Watch it. I'm going to show you. So Rod Smith is a black gay influencer Republican. Well, he left the Republicans after they trapped him and start saying gay sex and made him feel small and start calling him really bad names. So he decided, well, I'm going to lead the Republican Party. That's what he said. Those are his words. He even went on CNN. Look it up, people. I'm not telling you something that you can't look up yourself. So he goes on CNN. Oh, the Republican Party is this, and they're bad. And the same Republican Party he pushed water for. They're bad, and look what they did to me, and they hurt my feelings. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. But he realized that, wait a second. I can't get the grift off the Democrats, even on this. So I've got to go back to the Republican Party. And you know how it's easy to get in the Republican Party? Talk about black people. And you know how I really know for a fact? Because I was offered a radio spot. Yes, I was. I could have been making some pretty good money. I could have. Instead of being down here in my poor man's little setup that I got here, I was offered a radio spot. And you know what all I had to do? Was what Candace Owens was doing. What Rod Smith was doing. What that Brandon, what's his name? That cop. Brandon, that cop dude. What he's doing. What the Hodges twins are doing. That's all I had to do to make a pretty good penny. I could have had my doctor bills paid off this month. Paid off. That's a true story. So I know for a fact, when I did that video and it went viral and everybody was sitting there going, well, he's a black man. He carries a gun. But wait a second, we got to see if and he's a reverend. This is awesome. And he works and does all this stuff in the black community. And he's talking about the black community. See, I don't have a problem with these influencers, these black influencers, saying things about the black community. But you got to put your foot in it. You got to come and help. You got to come do this. You got to be willing to go and help these kids on the street. Help them out. I have no problem with that. It's the same thing with what we have here. I go after this dude on the radio. I even been on his show. He called me irrelevant. He said he called me irrelevant. But he called me an irrelevant because I went after him when I said, if you're going to have black people on your show talking about the black community, make sure those black people are working in the black community. That's all I said to him. And all of a sudden, I'm irrelevant. He's upset. And I've been on his show. But he's upset at me because if you're going to talk about the black community, put somebody on it. But the reason he want the people that he can pick and choose is the same reason why Republicans like to pick certain black people. Because they can control them. They knew they couldn't control me. That's why the deal went downhill. Because I wasn't willing to do what they wanted. There's a right here on Twitter, Crime Watch. I've told this story. The minute when I first got on Twitter, and still today, I still go to Crime Watch and I read her stuff. But the only thing I asked of her was tone down the racism on your get up. Then all of a sudden, she started hating me. All of a sudden, I don't like white people. I don't know why that came up. That came up. Like, man, I got so many white friends, it's not even funny. But she put it out there, and they ran with it for weeks. They dogged me for a whole week. All because I asked her to tone down some of the racism on her get up. I talk about the black community. I've got every right to. Because I'm down there almost every single day. I put my time into doing what is right down there. So the wrongs I can talk about all day. But can C.J. Pearson talk about the black community? No, he can't. Can Brandon, the cop guy, talk about the black community? No. Can Candace Owens talk about the... No. No. Can Byron McDonald talk about the black? No. Can Tim Scott talk about the black community? No. Can Wesley Hunt talk about? No. That's the difference, people. We don't care if black people go be Republicans. Cool. No problem with that. If y'all don't know who Sonny Johnson is, y'all need to look Sonny Johnson up. No, seriously. If you don't know who Sonny Johnson is, please, ma'am and sir, look up Sonny Johnson. Sonny Johnson has a radio show on Sirius. She is a conservative. Didn't say she was a Republican. Now, I want y'all to understand when it comes to me, a Republican and a conservative, it's two totally different people. Two totally different people. My grandfather died a conservative. By that, even though he voted for Richard Nixon, my grandfather never made the switch, ever. He stayed. He believed in what the Republican Party was supposed to be when it first got started, and that's why he stayed with the Republican Party, because that's the party that he believed in. He did not make the switch. He did not make the switch over to the Democratic Party when Barry Goldwater came in and said point blank, these Negroes we don't need. And the Republican Party said, you know what, you're right. No, come on, let's be real. And that's why the switch was made. Because they was down south with Bull Connor saying segregation. That's the party that the Republicans ran to, those type people. And y'all know it as well as I do. But my grandfather never made that switch. And he considered himself to be a conservative. And everybody in my house, you grew up conservative. Period. You didn't grow up a Republican. You didn't grow up with Ronald Reagan lying, saying welfare queen, when we realized that we know who used welfare and DEI more than black people. But nobody cares about these so-called black Republican influencers. Nobody cares about them. We don't. They care more about putting themselves out there like that than anything. Nobody. I could care less. Only thing I care about, if you're going to talk about the black community, then come be about the black community. Come help. Come put your time in. Then you can say anything you want. But these black influencers who's running around fooling white people, saying, oh, I speak for the black community or the black community, that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Period, point blank. And I just want to make sure we get that cleared up. And I want y'all, the ones who are it's finally beginning to open up for you, and you can see this stuff, those people, they're making a lot of money off of y'all. They are making a lot of money off of y'all. But they couldn't come over to the Democratic side and do the same thing that they're doing now. They couldn't do that. They couldn't do it. But they can go to Republicans and they can do that. And like I said before, I had an opportunity. Yes, I did. But I wasn't willing to sell my people out like that. There was an old saying back in the day when black people would go up north. You go up north, we'll send you up north. We'll pool our money together. We'll send you up north. And once you get up there and you get it made, send the elevator down for somebody else so they can come up. You can teach them, and then and you can teach them. See, we don't do that these days. They ain't been a black Republican who went to that White House and spoke on black folks. Candace, wait a minute, hey, back in the day, y'all swore, but now Candace Owens was Blexit. She was speaking for the black community. All of this here. The elevator never came down with Candace Owens. It never came back down. Candace got up there, got rich, did what she had, what she do, got married, had her kids, she moved on. Same thing with a lot of other black influencers. They went up there. Byron Donald went up there, got what he moved on. Tim Scott went up there, got what he moved on. All these other black influencers that you all are all hyped about and you love them to death, they went up there, they got what they moved on. They didn't go up there to say, hey, Trump, appreciate you for having me, but here is the problem. Black businesses. You remember when you sent Mike Pence to Minneapolis, Minnesota, Trump, you remember he went to Minneapolis and he made those promises to those black businesses in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Trump? Remember that? Well, why can't you follow through on the promises that he made? Because he made promises to the black business right here in this state. And I can tell you for a fact that none of what Mike Pence said that Donald Trump was going to do for black businesses that have been ruined during the riots and everything else, it has not happened right here. I can tell you that for a fact. So those black influencers who go up there and take pictures and nanny boo boo, look at me, I'm all this in a bag of chips, and the Democrats don't like it. No, what black people don't like is you ain't doing nothing. That's what black people, black lefty, as you put it, don't like, because you're up there and you're not doing anything. There's a black man right now sitting in prison that I have on this show every Sunday night. Why can't the black influencers go up there to the White House and go, hey, Dexter Taylor is sitting in prison, a political prisoner. Why ain't the black influencers reaching out? I've reached out to all of these black influencers. I've reached out to Byron Donald. I've reached out to Tim Scott. If they got the ear of the president, why can't they go tell the president that there's a political prisoner sitting in New York right now? You know why? Because they're not up there for us. They're up there for themselves. They're not up there for us, and we know that. So when C.J. Pearson put this bull crap out there talking about somebody hate, no, that's not what we hate. We hate that you use the back of black people to get to where you're at. And once you got there, you dumped us, CJ. You dumped us, Rod. You dumped us, Twins. You dumped us, Candace. That's our problem. Not that you're there. Not that you're a Republican. I've been like I said, I've been a Republican for years. Years I've been a Republican. I ain't got nobody coming up with me saying they hate me because I'm a Republican. They hate me because I don't believe in their policy. I don't believe in some of the things that they believe in is the reason they hate me. They hate me because I carry a firearm. They hate me because I'm a black minister, and they love to try to take over and tell us what to do and where to go and how to do things. Almost sounds like the Republicans, don't it? Because I told you, I could have a platform, but because I wouldn't do what they wanted me to do, that's why I'm not on a bigger platform right now. True story. True story. So when people talk about this type of stuff, I've already went through it. I've already been through it. I've already dealt with it. I've already heard about it. So y'all upset at Candace. Go look in the mirror. Blame yourself. Y'all did it. Y'all did it. Period, point blank. Don't say you didn't. I know people are going to be pulling back now. I never liked her. I listened to her. I just never liked her. Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And you like what she was, the crap that she was spurting out. And that's why I sit there and go, and everybody always talking about, oh, well, let's make America great again. I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me when was America great for everybody. I'm waiting to tell me the time period. Tell me the time period. Now, if you want to say, let's work to make America great, I can do that. But when you put the again part in there, because, see, I've got a grandson that looks like his grandmother during the wintertime. And then the summertime, he looks like, because then the sun hits him and he looks like Papa. And I don't want him to go through some of the things that I went through in my life. And if I can fight with the people, hold on, let me make sure I understand what I just said, because somebody missed that. If I can fight with the people to make his life better, and if you got a grandson or kids or whatever that mixed up or could get mixed up, if I can fight for them and help to make their life better, that's what I'm about. The Bible tells us that Jesus went into the temple. While he was in the temple, Jesus was pretty upset of the things that were going on. Now, Jesus could have said, you know what? It's not my scene, right? He could have easily walked out of there and been like, you know what? We're not going in there. I'm not going to mess with those people. We're just going to let them do what they do. And I'm going to keep going this way because I don't want no trouble. But that's not what Jesus did. Sometimes you got to turn tables over when you see wrong. Sometimes you got to get a whip. And you just got to run around and just start, because what you see is wrong and they know it's wrong. And the Bible tells us he flipped over money, tables that had money on it. And he chased them all out of there. He did it because of the filth that was going on. He did it because he knew what they were doing was wrong. Listen, people, I know what's been done here in Minnesota is wrong. It's time to start flipping over some tables. Because if we don't, we're in trouble. When I testified in 2019, I testified on the experience of being in the streets. And I said, something is about to happen. There is a powder keg that y'all don't even understand. And once that powder keg is lit, oh, it's about to go down. And nobody listened. Nobody listened. Had we been working towards a better solution, a better situation, the outcome of George Floyd would have been different. If we would have gave the people hope to say things are going to change, we're working on, the outcome of George Floyd would have been different. That maneuver that was done on George Floyd should have been outlawed. They only do it in Minneapolis. They don't do it in St. Paul. They don't do it anywhere else. They only do it in Minneapolis. That was supposed to be outlawed. The governor, the mayor of Minneapolis, ran on banning that very move that was done. He ran on that, told us he was going to get rid of it. No police officer was ever going to use it. Had he done his job, had the governor pushed for that, had the Democrats and the Republicans got together and banned that instead of fighting Republicans, fighting to keep it in, George Floyd would have never happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? Earlier tonight, I said point blank, what has the Republicans done for the state of Minnesota? And some of y'all would have said, oh, well, they couldn't do anything because of the Democrats. And I called you a liar. That's one of the things that they could have done. Republicans fought to make sure that the SROs in high school could actually fold kids up like pretzels. That they could, that very ban moved a police officer can do that to a kid at school. The very move that you saw, the Republicans did. Right here. They fought tooth and nail. But if we would have had that move banned, they would have never held that man down like they did. But because we have people at that Capitol that don't know their head from their feet, things are allowed to happen here. And then this is what we get. And this is what we go through. And we went through the situation with George Floyd, and you had a governor who disappeared. Listen to me. You had a governor that disappeared and gave people who should have never been on the streets the opportunity to run around and do whatever. Listen, when I say that, I'm standing right there. I'm watching this. I smelled the tear gas, and once it came. But before that, people were running around doing whatever they want. There was no one to stop them at all. At all. But George Floyd didn't have to die. And the whole situation that happened during George Floyd didn't have to die. And people who walked in here like the organization of Black Lives Matter and left here with bags of money, that didn't have to happen. And then the people who was left here and the elderly who couldn't go get their medicine, who was afraid to come out of their apartments, that didn't have to happen. And all the black people who lost their business that never came back, that did not have to happen. But because we as taxpayers will sit back and let things happen and then bitch about it afterwards, that's the very reason why things happen here in Minnesota. Because nobody wants to stand up. Nobody wants to talk about things. You got the Democrats right now fighting to keep men in women prisons. That's not right, people. I don't care what, sit there and go, well, the women should have not. What dude said to me the other day? Well, if the women wasn't in the prisons, then then it wouldn't happen. I don't care if a woman makes a mistake and she gets locked up. She has every right to be in her space. Let me make sure we understand what I just said. Women have a right to be in their space without somebody who puts a wig on, slap on lipstick, a dress, and say, I feel like a woman. But yet every other part you had that I am a man, you have it. I told y'all, not playing that. Not playing it. They was fighting at the Capitol just the other day, talking about kids, or what's the percentage of kids that boys is playing in girls' sports? I don't care. See, here's what I've learned, what I do know. If you open that door, it's always room to be looking for more. If we open that door, that's my problem. I don't care if it's 0.01%. I don't care if there's one boy playing girls volleyball in the state of Minnesota. That's one too many. And that's a door we cannot let open. Let me show you an example. They said, well, we want to be recognized of being together. Correct? That's how this whole started. We want to be recognized to be together. Okay. Then you have a civil union. Correct? That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. When we finally said, okay, what we'll do is give you a civil union and you have the same, you have rights, but you can't have marriage between a man and a woman, because when he set the two off and he told them to go off to be together, it wasn't Steve and Steve. But somehow, some way, we got hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray. And now the word marriage. So if we open another door, they'll be in bathrooms together. They'll be in prisons together. They'll be in any space that a woman can be in, that a woman is in, any space. I'm not willing to let that happen anymore. I'm not willing to let a group of people come in and basically tell me what I'm going to do. As long as I'm here, I'm going to protect the women of Minnesota. She has every right. I've got a wife. I've got a granddaughter. And I don't want to go to jail. So why would the Democrats decide we're going to do things to put somebody who believes in what God told him to do? My God as a man, and if you're a man and you know, we talk about this masculinity, right? It's all you. I'm sorry, I'm over. Just give me a few more minutes, and I promise I'm done. But we talk about this masculinity. That's what we've been hearing. Oh, they're taking away our masculinity. Our masculinity has gone away, and masculinity is this. Really? So you tell me you don't read your Bible is what you tell me. You tell me you don't understand what God prepped you for, number one, and set you up for, number two. That's what you, when I hear people say that our masculinity is being taken away, the masculine, that's what tells me that you're not reading your Bible. You're not doing what God told you. God said, I'm going to make man. And he made the man what? First. He didn't make the woman first. He made man. He made man, and he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you to work. I'm going to give you something to do. I'm going to set you up for success. I'm going to show you how to take care of things. I'm going to show you how to name them. I'm going to show you how to feed them. I'm going to show you how to harvest. I'm going to give you every tool because I got something else for you down the line. I'm going to set it up to where you're going to be successful in what you do. I'm going to put you in a garden. I don't know how many times it rained, but I got a feeling it didn't rain much because Adam didn't have nothing on. I'm just saying. So tilling the garden, taking care of things, naming things, that's a masculine situation. I'm prepping you to be ready. Because God's thinking down the line, if you can do everything here, because God will never give you more than you can handle. He will not do that. Trust me when I say that. But I'm gonna put you in a situation to where you're about to learn how to take care of some of my most precious gifts. And he said, I'm going to put you to sleep. What did he do? Put Adam to sleep, took a rib, boom, put it in the woman. Adam, I've got something for you. Here is one of my most precious gifts that I'm about to give you. I've taught you how to feed. I've taught you how to harvest. I've taught you how to protect, and I've taught you how to love. Those are masculine things. Now I'm going to turn this gift over to you. And that's what he did. And then he said, hold on, Adam, the gift I gave you can have gifts also. Did y'all miss what I just said? The gift that I gave you, Adam, can have gifts also. So it's your job to take care of the gift I gave you and then to take care of the gift that she gave you. That's a man's job. And if you don't, if you don't, you short on talking about masculinity, read your Bible. Because it's telling you right there what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to be as a man. Don't give me this. I mean, that's why I hear this crap. We're losing our masculinity. They're taking our never and ever a day. It's your job as a man to take care of what God has given you and then take care of what she gave you. My wife, my kids, my grandkids is one of the most important things to me on walking this earth right now. Ain't no masculinity going away from me. Not when I know what my God, my Savior, set me up for. As a man, you are set up for this. Period, point blank. I cannot make it any clearer than that. As a man, this is what you're set up for. You are made for this moment. So you can't fall short and then blame it on, they took away my masculinity. They can't take what God gave you. They can't take what God gave you. Those are facts, people. Prove me wrong. Anything, like I told y'all, any day at a time, any week you name the time, you name the day, you name the week. And I'll put you right there. And we can have a conversation. I have no problem. I love talking to people. I don't like talking to myself sometimes. I love talking to people. But nobody ever want to come talk to me. But anyway, fam, hey, I'm done. I kept you a little over. What are we at? 21 minutes? Sorry. Totally my fault. 28 minutes. Totally my fault. But hey, again, like I said before, if you're one of them guys out there and you're trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing and you feel that your masculinity, pick your Bible up. God will tell you what to do. God will tell you what to do. You were always made for this moment. If for nothing else, you feel that you feel important, know this. God prepared you for this moment. Yes, he did. No ifs, ands, or buts. But anyway, let's end the night like we always end the night, understanding and realizing that the very God that I was just talking about is a mighty, unbelievable, true God. God don't have to be nobody but himself. Period, point blank. He's an awesome, mighty God. He's an on-time God. This is a God that has set us above everything else. No ifs, no ands, no buts. He's already told us what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to do it. It's up to us to do it. But if we run around here and we let people tell us that we ain't something that we already know that we are, then we have not done the things that God has told us to do. Men, we were chosen for this very reason. Look, no disrespect to women. Like I said, they are our gifts. But we were made first for a reason. He didn't make Eve and say, here, go name the animals, go do this, go. It was Adam. It was man. So buck up, people. Buck up. Buck up. It's time for us to start doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. No if, no ands, no buts about that. But anyway, fam, know that God is always on your side no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, no matter who you do it to. No matter what they do to you, stab you in the back, kick you or whatever. God will put your enemies, make your enemies a footstool because he's always with you, even at the worst of your time. I will never leave you and I will never forsake you isn't just a word that he said. It's something that he promised you. Know that you walk through the valley of the shadow of death. He's going to be right there with you because his rod and his staff is what's going to comfort you all the time. And for that reason, you should have a smile on your face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We take them out, people, and we smile at somebody. So somebody smile back at you. Peace, fam. I'm out. May not see you Wednesday. We'll see if we have practice. We'll probably catch you on Friday. And then Sunday, remember Dexter Taylor. If y'all want to do something for this man, who is right now sitting in prison. You want to really know a political prisoner. He's my political prisoner. He will always be my political prisoner. Dexter Taylor, we have him on Sunday nights. We sit and we just chop it up and we talk about things and things of that sort. So if you want to come hang out with us on Saturdays and learn about Dexter's plight and why, and then if you want to do something for Dexter, that you don't have to send money. Only thing I'm asking you to do is any big influencer on here you know of, send his name to him. Dexter Taylor. That's all you have to do. That's all. Now, if you're nice enough, you want to put money on his books, that's fine. But what I'm asking you to do is Dexter Taylor. Learn about how the city of New York used this man as a pawn. And he's in prison right now for 10 years. And I know you sit there and go, oh, he must have murdered somebody. He must have assaulted somebody. He must have robbed a bank or something. He put together a firearm. He had never had a record or anything. And matter of fact, his credit card. Now, if I wanted to put together a ghost gun or gun that I didn't want the law to know about, you know how I would do it? I would buy it with cash. I wouldn't buy it with a credit card to where your credit card company can basically rat you out because he wasn't trying to hide anything. So if you want to do something for Dexter Taylor, ma'am and sir, please, I'm begging you. If you can find what Joe Rogan, please go hit Joe Rogan up and ask Joe Rogan if he would mind just looking into the case. I'm not asking for much. Anyway, fam, y'all have a good night. Peace be with you. I'm out.